in a world where you have to win to survive. He would stop at nothing to get it all. Will he rise to the top or fall from the throne? Described as being brilliant, outstanding, and a one-of-a-kind performance. This winter, see twice the action, twice the drama. Critics are calling it sensational. Daniel Schwarzenegger, as you've never seen him before, in The Gambler Redemption.
Welcome everybody to the Late Night Show. I'm here with the stars and the makers of the latest box office hit, The Gambler, The Redemption. Next we have Daniel McConaughey, the main star of the film. We have Tom Hanks, the director, and of course Vince Vaughn, who also features in the film and I believe is the inspiration for the film. We'll get to that one later. Thanks for being here tonight, guys, and yeah, get around them.
It's alright, thanks for having us.
So, Daniel, the movie's based basically on a young Australian who becomes an addict and a problem gambler. What do you describe as a problem gambler?
Thanks for having us, Josh. It's always a pleasure to be on this show. So a problem gambler is somebody who gambles beyond recreation. It's really when it becomes more than a casual fun night out with some friends and a bit of light gambling. It really becomes a habit, and the habit can't be shaken, and that's when it really affects the individual and the community as well.
Thanks, Daniel. That was great. What inspired you to make this film?
Well, the inspiration really came from my friend Vince here. He was a gambling addict for some time, over 6 years, and I really saw how it really affected his day-to-day life. He really struggled. He was struggling for money, he was struggling with his family, and it was something that really we all wanted to help him, all of us that knew him, and it's quite a wide problem that's now spreading, so I'll get Vince to say a few words on how he's overcome the issue.
Thanks, Tom. Well, Josh, to be honest with you, I think that people who have a gambling problem usually are embarrassed to admit that there is a problem and try to fix it. So, as an ex-gambler myself, I found that it was very hard to reach out and try to get any sort of help. So this movie really highlights the issues that people like myself have and how we can reach out and get over it.
Thank you very much for that, guys. Anyone out there who does need help, make sure you get on top of it nice and early because can affect their lives, I suppose. Now, this is a bit of a concerning number, I suppose, guys. I mean, a study conducted by the Australian government found that the average problem gambler spends around $21,000 a year on their addiction. Clearly, that's not a good number, but other than the obvious costs financially, what other issues can this addiction pose?
Yeah, well, that $21,000 should be spent on living costs or family holidays with the kids, education, healthcare. So people are really it doesn't allow people to grow anymore from where they are. And then there's the cost of, in terms of work productivity, the workforce, people are distracted. It really does affect the society as a whole.
What have you guys learned from gambling through making this film?
One thing that I really learned was how these individuals, gambling may not be the problem, it's the addictions that come with it, alcoholism, the domestic violence. A study conducted by the National Council of Problem Gambling concluded that 1 in 5 problem gamblers have tried to kill themselves. So, it's a serious issue that needs to be addressed by the government.
I'm going to put this question to all you guys, but I'll start with you, Tom. What would you do to solve the issue of problem gambling?
Well, Josh, from the statistics that we've found, it's really troubling that we've seen problem gambling not only affect the gambler, but the families of gamblers. We think that a really good idea would be to set up free counselling sessions every 2 weeks for 6 months. It's been found that 63% of family members of problem gamblers have an inability to trust the gambler. It's really troubling that it's such a widespread problem and that it can't be contained without help of the family, but if they can't trust the gambler, then it brings another problem. Intimate partners of problem gamblers have increased rates of emotional disturbances such as depression and behavioural difficulties such as increased smoking. So we really think that helping the family members would also assist in helping the gamblers.
Very insightful, that, Tom. I'll ask this question now to you, Damon. What do you reckon you can do to solve it?
What I would do is target the younger audience, younger teens, to prevent it from happening later in life. So I would run school-based initiatives where people can learn about the facts to help them be able to identify if they even have a problem, and once they've identified that, where they can actually get help. So it's all about basically the prevention of it developing later in life. I mean, a study conducted by Know the Odds Foundation concluded that people who start gambling at 15 years of age are 4 times more likely to become problem gamblers later in life and experience all those issues that we talked about. And so that's basically where I would put my attention to.
Once again, very interesting perspective there, Daniel. Vince, your turn. What do you reckon you can do to solve a massive issue of problem gambling?
Well, Josh, to be honest with you, as a ex-problem gambler, I think that we need to decrease the appeal of gambling itself. Machines, for example, like pokies, they're very flashy and full of sirens, and just want to get the player to come and play. So they got voiceovers that when you walk past, they tell the player to come try your luck. And someone that isn't in the right mindset, or is always after beating the odds, will tend to go towards that machine like I used to, and just waste all their money. So I honestly think there needs to be a legislation that the Parliament should put through that would stop these manufacturers of machines from putting those attractions and sirens and flashy lights and stuff like that, that would stop players from getting tempted. Now, I know it would be hard for them to pass that through the Parliament, so there might be the risk of the manufacturers saying no, appealing, and also the owners of those machines, saying no. But we need to just put petitions out there and just push for the government to do that, because that will definitely stop people from gambling, I believe.
As I prepared for this interview today, I found that 18 to 24-year-olds are more likely to become problem gamblers, which clearly is pretty concerning. But probably the most concerning is that an average Australian household, this is only an average household, spends almost $2,500 a year on gambling, which is more than what you would spend on petrol, internet, and other bills, which is really concerning. And in 2009, almost 70% of Australians took some form of gambling, which is a high number. 18 to 24-year-olds are clearly the most vulnerable. 5% of them are problem gamblers, and this is before they've really started getting into gambling. I mean, an 18-year-old kid is basically starting out as a gambler and immediately becomes problem gamblers, which is clearly a concerning statistic. And of all people, 16% are at risk of being a problem gambler, which is almost 1 in 5, which is not a positive statistic, and hopefully we can make that go down very quickly. Ways that you guys can get involved: community clubs, community RSLs, whatever you want to call them, are all open to a new initiative, a new program through the Victorian government. That there will be a 3-year program where the clubs, anyone can speak with counsellors, staff members, prior problem gamblers, get involved. It's a worthy cause and really important.